Okay guys, what's up? It is Triathlon Tech Tuesday, and today I want to do something different. I did not want to, I keep doing these like bike tech, segments, and I get sick of it super quick. So, in future episodes, I will try to do some running stuff and some swimming stuff. I don't know what I'm gonna come up with, but we'll come up with something. But today I want to do something slightly different and talk a little bit about how I film myself, whether that's on the bike, how I film myself sometimes, running or whatever it is, and just talk about my process and some of the equipment that I use, just because people are definitely interested in what equipment people use for what. Okay, so the camera that I'm using right now is called the Sony Alpha 7 III. It's a DSLR camera. It's obviously not this one because I'm filming myself with the Sony Alpha 7 III, but it's a DSLR camera, mirrorless camera that I got in March or something like that. And it's fantastic. I love that camera. It can do 4K. It can do some of the slower motion stuff that you might have seen on this channel. This is my wife's Canon 7D, which I also love. We've had it kind of since we started having kids and wanted a nice DSLR to be able to take those family photos. So DSLR for sure makes a big difference. And mostly I think it's because of the lenses and things like that themselves end up being a little bit nicer than say like a GoPro or your standard like phone. However, that being said, I definitely love using my phone for a lot of things as well. Now, I have this little device just kind of like for my phone, and I can put it on a tripod or wherever it is, so I can get a little bit more control over exactly how I frame the shot. But I have the iPhone 10, which has a super nice camera on it, and it takes really nice photos. The other thing that it does is kind of that slow motion stuff, which I probably overuse on this channel, and I apologize. It's probably gonna continue to happen, so just bear with me. And then another thing that I definitely want to touch base on is GoPro. GoPro that I have, I think, is the GoPro Hero 5. And it's okay, it's not coming out, but I also have like a selfie stick. This is nice, if you're biking around or whatever, and you can, pull it out. You can get some different shots. Some of that stuff like that's low to the ground, or, if I need to film like a tire hitting the ground or something like that, this is super nice. Again, this does that slow motion stuff too, which I love to do. It also does some kind of that higher resolution video as well, like 2K and 4K. So that's cameras that I use. The next question is kind of like, okay, how do you get these shots? Where do you, what do you do? I mentioned the selfie stick. That's great. But the other thing that's weird that I'll do is I will just attach these GoPros kind of to the bike. A lot of times I just tape them on the bike, which is a little sketch, right? Because they could definitely fall off or get crashed, get beat up, which the great thing about the GoPros is the durability. I think I remember like a couple of weeks ago, it's actually been a little while, I put one GoPro on the ground and then just tried to bunny hop it with, I think maybe like my cyclocross bike. I don't remember which bike it was, but I completely crushed the GoPro, and I did actually break bits and pieces of it off. But for the most part, they're extremely durable. And so I don't hesitate to basically grab some electrical tape and tape it to the bike, just in different locations. I love kind of that shot that's behind the foot, kind of along the chainstay, basically. You know, I'll tape a GoPro there. Or the other spot that I'll kind of do frequently is underneath my computer, my bike computer, or kind of underneath the handlebars. And I'll shoot that quite a bit as well, which is kind of nice, right? Because you can kind of throw it on there and forget about it. All right, so GoPros are great. Definitely suggest snagging one if you guys want to film yourself for some of these bike rides, runs, or even swims, right? Because these are waterproof. Okay, the other thing that I want to mention is lighting. Lighting, I think, is something that we're probably all forgetting about. At least I definitely am, especially on earlier videos. You guys probably can go back to some of my first videos and just, you know, you guys might not throw up in your mouth, but I will. Lighting is something that, you know, I find absolutely critical. And you can really tell a difference, right? You know, if the lighting is like, you know, way too close or a little bit softer, you can get decent lighting. So this particular item, you can have, this is just, this is a light from Aperture, which is a lighting company. Next, I would definitely say microphone. Hopefully the audio doesn't get too crazy if I do this, but this is a Rode microphone, and you can put different things on top of the microphone itself, just to kind of help with wind noise and things like that. So this goes on here like this, and basically makes some wind noise a touch better. Having a nice microphone, I think, makes a big difference. You know, a lot of the times you guys are stuck listening to my horrible voice, and, you know, the audio quality being a little bit better, I think is helpful. One of the things that I really find attractive is drone shots. And the drone shots, I think, actually turn out beautifully because it's just a different perspective. Drone shots are great because you can kind of get to see a little bit more of like where we are in, you know, in the world, and just kind of get a wider view of like what's going on. So I'm really loving the drone shots. I need to use it more. This drone is called the Mavic Air, and it's really small, so it's something you can kind of like throw in your pocket and take with you. It's not super hard to travel with. The one thing is it's hard for me to kind of like do too much stuff, whether that's running on the trails, this thing, you know, you struggle with trees and things like that, or swimming, you know, you're just flat out in the water or in the lake and stuff like that, and it's hard to operate the drone when you're doing stuff like that. So a lot of my drone shots probably don't have as much action in them, so you guys are just gonna have to put up with that. Okay, the last thing that I'll mention is an ND filter for my DSLR, which definitely helps with getting video that's not super blown out. When it's sunny out, I love to go film because you like to be outdoors. We all like to work out when it's sunny, but the sun makes it hard to film because what you end up having is just like this absolutely blown out sunny view of what, you know, and I've made this mistake a ton of times, and eventually I'll figure it out. But an ND filter helps cut down on some of that glare. It's basically like sunglasses for your camera. Okay, as far as camera lenses go, I don't currently have a ton of lenses at this point. This lens from Sony is what they call a kit lens, and it goes from 28 to 70. If you guys are familiar with zoom lenses, the aperture is like 3.5 to 5.6, so variable aperture. Not the best lens in the world. The lens that's on the camera that I'm filming with now is a lens that I love. It's a 50 millimeter lens. I think it's 1.8, and I love the way it looks. I really enjoy that lens a lot. I pretty much use it all the time. Probably all the B-roll shots that you guys see would be using that lens. Okay, hopefully I'll pick up some more lenses in the future. We'll see what's on the Christmas list. Okay, so as far as editing videos goes, I edit on a iMac. It's a slightly older iMac computer. I also have a Macintosh laptop, MacBook Pro, which I like a lot. Obviously, I use those for my day job, which is writing software. So having a nice, fast computer makes a big difference for me on a daily basis. The software that I use is Adobe Premiere Pro. There's some fantastic options out there. I actually think Apple might make some slightly faster video editing stuff. They have a product called Final Cut Pro, and even like Movie Maker, if you guys are into building different videos or interested in making videos like this. There's so many good options as far as software goes. I personally use Adobe Premiere Pro. I think it's fantastic. It's a great option for you guys, if you guys are kind of familiar with Adobe and their particular suite of products. Okay, so that is a little bit about some of the gear that I use for filming some of these triathlon videos. I apologize that this had very little to do with triathlon, but if you are into this stuff, and I promise I mostly make triathlon videos, consider subscribing below. If you like this video, hit that like button, and we will see you guys on the next video.